During the Three Kingdoms period, Guan Yu lost Jingzhou due to carelessness and was eventually killed by Ma Zhong of the Eastern Wu. There are many mysteries behind the failure of this battle. The most confusing thing is that when Guan Yu was in a stalemate on the Xiangfan front, Zhuge Kongming, who was always very resourceful, did not advise Liu Bei to send reinforcements. It was not until Guan Yu was killed that history revealed the shocking truth. The real controller of the military and political power of Shu Han had already changed. When Guan Yu was in a desperate situation in Maicheng, even Liu Bei was unable to help. Who was the person who was in charge of the lifeline of Shu Han behind the scenes? After the three heroes of Taoyuan had gone through ups and downs, Liu Bei felt that he was in urgent need of a think tank to assist him. He visited the hermit Shu Jing, and although he failed to invite him out of seclusion, he was recommended to two geniuses, Zhuge Liang and Pang Tong. However, the frequent wars delayed him for a long time, and he was unable to find a visit. During his stay in Jingzhou, Liu Bei repeatedly offered advice to Liu Biao, but to no avail. When he was in a difficult situation, he finally made up his mind to visit Mr. Wulong, which led to the eternal story of 3 visits to the thatched cottage. Since following Liu Bei, Guan Yu has often given advice to Liu Bei with his calmness and wisdom, and can be regarded as a deputy military advisor. However, after Zhuge Liang joined, Liu Bei listened to him and ignored Guan Yu, who he relied on in the past. Faced with Guan Yu's resistance, Zhuge Liang used his strategy calmly. He knew Guan Yu's military pride and deliberately highlighted the importance of his defense of Jingzhou in strategic planning, which not only won Guan Yu's favor, but also realized his own layout. Unfortunately, man's plans are not as good as God's plans. Guan Yu eventually lost Jingzhou because of his arrogance. Coincidentally, Cao Cao was on a southern expedition, and Zhuge Liang proposed the strategy of Sun-Lu alliance at the right time. His foresight impressed Zhang Fei, and his clever flattery made Guan Yu feel relieved. This strategy eventually led to the victory of Chibi, and Cao Cao was defeated and fled to Huarong Road. Zhou Yu was unwilling to give up, so he immediately sent his pursuers to chase the remnants of Chao's army. At the same time, Zhuge Liang had already arranged for Guan Yu to lead his troops to ambush at Huarong Road. When Cao Cao encountered Guan Yu, he immediately asked for his past favor. Guan Yu, who was always loyal, really let Chao's army go. This was a carefully designed game within a game by Zhuge Liang. If Guan Yu killed Cao Cao, he would be branded as a traitor. If he let the enemy go, he would be held responsible for dereliction of duty. In addition, Guan Yu had signed a military order before the expedition, which put him in a dilemma. This golden knife plan was perfect, which made Guan Yu deeply understand the depth of Zhuge Liang's strategy, and he was in awe of him from then on. Zhuge Liang took this opportunity to successfully establish an unshakable position in the team. After ending the direct conflict with Cao Cao's main force, Liu Bei set about consolidating the acquired territory. He first appointed Lu Feng and Meng Da and other generals to garrison in Shangyong area, and at the same time ordered Guan Yu to stay in Jingzhou, a strategic location. At the same time, Liu Bei personally led the main force to advance westward. After borrowing some counties from Dongwu, he immediately engaged in a fierce battle with Chao's army stationed in Yizhou. When Liu Bei's army was unstoppable in the southern battlefield, Guan Yu stationed in Jingzhou decided to take advantage of the situation and attack the important military town of Fancheng. This military action had been approved by Liu Bei and Zhuge Liang in advance. Guan Yu led an elite army to the north, and the initial results were remarkable. He defeated many important generals of Chao's army in succession. However, he encountered stubborn resistance in front of the defense of Fancheng, and his offensive was blocked. After a long period of unsuccessful siege, Guan Yu tried to request reinforcements from Lu Feng, who was stationed nearby, but failed to get a response. Faced with this dilemma, Guan Yu could only continue to confront the defenders of Fancheng. Faced with the dilemma of a stalemate in the war, Guan Yu had to ask for help from Chengdu. However, Liu Bei never took action. The reason for this was that Zhuge Liang had determined in his early years in Longzhong strategy that Guan Yu was capable of standing alone. At that time, Shu Han had just settled in Hanzhong, and the government and the public were all concerned about defending their foundation. Even if Liu Bei intended to reinforce, the ministers would certainly respect the military advisor's opinion. Just when the war was at a stalemate, Lu Meng of the Eastern Wu suddenly crossed the river to attack Jingzhou. Guan Yu hurried back, but it was too late, and he was eventually defeated and killed in Maicheng. This series of changes came so suddenly that even the ingenious Kong Ming could not expect it. Perhaps at the last moment of his life, Guan Yu truly understood. The newly joined counselor at that time has now become the real decision-maker of Shu Han. Every major decision made by Liu Bei must be approved by the military advisor. With Zhuge Liang's prestige in the court, it would be easy for him to replace him. It is not difficult to understand why Liu Bei said such meaningful words when he entrusted his son to his care before his death. If the heir can be assisted, assist him. If he is not talented, you can take it yourself. With Zhuge Liang's prestige and power in Shu Han, it would be easy for him to replace him. His wisdom and strategy won the support of the whole court, and the power he actually controlled even surpassed that of the monarch Liu Bei. Because of this, Liu Bei's last words, "You can take it yourself," when he entrusted his son to Liu Bei before his death, were both an affirmation of his ability and a hint of helplessness. However, what is admirable is that Zhuge Liang always abided by his loyalty and was willing to serve as prime minister. This loyal character is indeed a model of wise ministers in all dynasties.